Hey guys, welcome to another session by K21 Academy. Today our expert will be talking about cloud service and deployment models. So let's get into the video.
Hey there, so welcome back. So in the previous lesson, we looked at cloud computing definition, and I mentioned there are three service models and four deployment models. So let's look at these service models. So the service models are infrastructure as a service, which we also call as IaaS, platform as a service, which is PaaS, and then software as a service, which is SaaS. So typically, this is where it used to be traditionally on-premise. When you deploy your applications on premise, this is what you have where everything right from networking, storage, servers, virtualization, operating system, a middleware, runtime, data, and entire application. All these needs to be managed by customer. Whereas in infrastructure as a service model, the networking, storage, server, and virtualization is the responsibility of cloud vendor, whereas operating system, middleware, runtime, data, and application is managed by the customer. Now, if you're completely new, virtualization, the common questions we get is first of all, what is virtualization? So virtualization is where you have one single server. On that server, you can run a multiple operating system or multiple machines on a single underlying server. So that's virtualization, like VMware, or you might have heard of VMware or other virtualization softwares like Zen or other ones. Another one which we see or here is what is runtime. And in this case, runtime could be your runtime application on which application run, which uses runtime like Java Development Kit or .NET based runtime libraries and so on. You already know operating system. Middleware applications are operating system is like in this case Windows, Linux, or other things as well. So in infrastructure service, your network, storage, server, virtualization, as I said earlier, is managed by cloud vendor, and you as a customer is responsible for operating systems. So any patching on those servers or creation of what operating system to select is, or what middleware or database or data, all these are responsibility of client. So an example of infrastructure service, you say create, give me a machine, or you install a virtual machine, that's an example of infrastructure as service. Or you say I want some storage, that's an example of infrastructure service. You say I want to create a network and I need some set of IP addresses, or I want to create a load balancer. All these are example of infrastructure as service. Then comes platform as a service. In platform as a service, whatever you were doing or whatever was a cloud manager or cloud vendors provide a responsibility in infrastructure service, that plus the operating system, middleware, and runtime all are responsibility of cloud vendor. You as a customer will be managing just the data and application. So example of some of the platform as a service is you have a relational database service, which is a you get the entire platform and you can create databases and you just run and manage database. You don't know, or you're not managing underlying operating system. You're not managing underlying any runtime libraries or middleware for that reason if you have middleware. Another example of um, a platform as a service could be a web apps, which we'll see a little bit later, or Docker and Kubernetes, or Elastic Beanstalk. These are some of the examples which we'll see a little bit later in this module. So all these are platform. So all you need to do is you have the underlying platform. You simply build that particular or create that application. For example, really, as I said, a database or Beanstalk or Docker and Kubernetes on AWS, which is Elastic Kubernetes Service, and so on. So that is all like cloud vendor's responsibility. You'll be managing just the data or application on top of that as a you as a customer. And final one is software as a service, in which everything is managed by the cloud vendor. All you need is a license and or a login ID details, and you're paying just for the login ID and details in software as a service. And rest all, you don't need to worry about high availability, you don't need to worry about disaster recovery, you don't need to worry about security, as long as your login IDs you're keeping secure. Underlying network level, infrastructure level, it's all customers or cloud vendors responsibility. So example of software as a service, you might have Gmail is, you can take an example, or Dropbox is an example of software as a service. Or maybe if in an enterprise software, you might have heard of Salesforce, where you do everything on the cloud. All you need is a login detail, and rest all is managed by the cloud vendor. So these are the three models, which will see that infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And now, if you are working on AWS DevOps or AWS Solution Architect, you'll be working mainly on infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. These are the two main categories you'll be working, and we'll see a little bit later. Software as a service is typically are, as I said, a packaged application like Salesforce or um, uh, or other like Gmail or Dropbox and so on, or Office 365 for that reason, if you're working on Microsoft Office, Microsoft applications, or for that reason, Oracle Fusion applications, Oracle Financials on the cloud, HCM cloud, and so on. So these are some of the examples of infrastructure service. Now let's look at deployment model. And the deployment model are involved public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and there's one more community which I'll explain in a minute. So public cloud are typically offered by third-party providers. Anyone in the public can access them, and then you can scale up quickly and conveniently. Examples are your AWS, your Google, your Azure, Microsoft, your Oracle, IBM Cloud, and so on. These are publicly available cloud. Then you have a private cloud, which is offered by selective users or offered selective users for a particular company, dedicated over either on the internet or on a private internal network within private. Sometimes you can also have the entire cloud hardware and software or set at the customer premises, we call clouded customer as well, which provides greater security because it's only for dedicated one customer. It requires traditional data centers and staffing and maintenance because you probably are managing it for a specific customer. So that's private cloud. Here the software will be like on similar what you do in cloud, but it's dedicated for a particular customer. And then come hybrid cloud, which is combination of public and private, where you have some part public and some part private. Which is on customer premises as well. In this model, you have a shared responsibility because some applications are running onto cloud and some are on-premise. So security of them, it's shared between the customer and cloud vendor. Now, the controls, you can say my sensitive information are on-premise and my less sensitive or maybe something which I can live with. If I don't have any data restrictions, I can put them into cloud as well. So hybrid cloud is that. And there's a fourth one, which is community cloud, where you have group of community or couple of customers, related customers. So for example, government organizations. So government say that all the police department, security, all home office departments are managed or run in a cloud. Community cloud we say, or government cloud, an example of community cloud where multiple similar kind of departments all related to government are part of that cloud. So that's community cloud as well. So these are some of the deployment models. So to recap very quickly, you have service model, which is software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and deployment is public, private, hybrid. These are three service model: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. PaaS, IaaS, IaaS, and SaaS. And these are the three deployment: public, private, hybrid, and community cloud model. Now, in the next lesson, we are going to head on to and start looking at AWS, a little bit about why AWS, and then the global infrastructure of AWS, like a region, availability zone. And then we'll talk about is AWS services, and we'll start looking at the common services. So this is Atul from Team K21 Academy. Head into the next lesson where we talk about is AWS and or introduction to AWS. I'll see you in next lesson.
So guys, this was our expert from Team K21 Academy, and if in case you missed upon any concept or if you want to dive deeper into the concepts, then we have something really special for you. We have our free class on Amazon AWS Solution Architect Certification for Beginners. Under this free class, you'll be learning about why and who should learn AWS, cloud services, deployment models, and AWS services as well. And the most important part is you'll be getting hands-on labs, job opportunities, along with Docker and Kubernetes in AWS, and amazing, amazing stuff. So if you want to register for this free class, All you have to do is just log on to your browser and type k21academy.com/AWS SA02. And after that, you'll be seeing this kind of interface. You just have to click on book your free seat now, select your event date, add your name, your email address, your phone number, and click on yes, save my seat. And after that, you'll be seeing this kind of page. You just have to save this link on the extreme right, add it to your calendars, and I'll see you in the free class. Till then, keep learning.